Hey everyone, I thought I would do the second part to the Sheikh Uthman video, the terrible Dawah video that he released yesterday. First bit I did, you can find a link in the description and at the end of this video, which covers the non-Muslim that he spoke to. This second part, he talking to an ex-Muslim, and it's even worse. He just gets into a huge shouting match and just shows how bad a Dawah he is. So let's just get straight into it.
Come talk to me. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
What's your name?
I'm Case.
Case?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm an ex-Muslim. Okay.
You were a Muslim?
I was ex-Muslim.
Okay, let me ask something. Were you from Shia
It
or were
doesn't
you Muslim?
matter.
No, it doesn't matter.
Right, do you catch that? Were you Shia or an actual ex-Muslim? So in the first video I did, I pointed out how Uthman managed to insult Hindus, Catholics, and Protestants, all with his little snarky comments, insults, and mockery. For example, saying Hindus worship cows and monkeys, and Protestants are cult, and Catholics are paedophiles, and stuff like that. Right, so he managed to mock all those. Now he's also thrown the Shias in there as well. And again, just to emphasize the point, I believe in the right to be able to mock religions and insult them, but this is one of the guys who will scream about how tolerant Islam is, how it never mocks any other people's religions, and he's managed to insult. Now I've worked it out, something like 3.7 billion. All those groups cover Hindus, Shias, Protestants, and Catholics. 3.7 billion people. He's managed to insult in the space of one Dawah video, and this is the religion that supposedly doesn't insult others.
It doesn't matter because there's a difference. Hold on.
What's your name?
Hold on. My name's Uthman.
Ahmad?
Uthman.
Osman?
Yes.
Osman, brother.
All right, wait, hold on.
Let me tell you
Hold on.
something.
When
Let
we
me tell
speak,
you, there's so much
hold on. Look, let's have a civil conversation.
I am actually.
Okay?
I'm
No.
just laughing.
So what
you know?
I'm laughing too. That's all good.
Because
What I'm saying
Yeah, he won't be laughing in a minute though. He'll be screaming.
is when you speak, I'll listen,
Okay.
and when I speak, you listen. How's
So
that?
you want to listen to me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, here we go. Since the beginning of Islam, 14 centuries, right? There were so many killing. It is all within Islam. Versus Shia, versus Muslim, versus Sunni versus Ismaili, and all this stuff.
I'm just listening now, respectfully.
Good.
Yeah, you're not actually listening, you're just waiting for your turn to interrupt, and there's an important difference. And the reason I know that he's not actually listening is because this ex-Muslim guy is simply saying, look, there's a lot of violence in Islam, particularly he's talking about between different factions and stuff like that. That's his point. Later on in the video, Uthman misrepresents what he's actually said, and I'll come back to that.
So that's one thing, right? There's so much violence in Islam. Second, right? Can you have a conversation?
Can we talk about that first?
1 second. Yeah, go ahead. Answer your question.
So
Why there's so much?
I got you. So
Yeah, so he's already managed to interrupt him. He's given him about 30 seconds to speak, and now he's going to go on his own monologue.
what are you? Are you a Christian?
I don't have a religion. God doesn't have.
You're an
I believe
atheist?
God doesn't. No.
Okay.
I believe in God.
Okay.
That same Allah, Muhammad, Allah that you believe. I say Allah or Muhammad. I mean, no more Muhammad. God doesn't have a religion because you know what? Religion is the earth, in front of you.
That makes
everything,
okay.
right?
First thing, I don't think you know what the definition of religion is if you think the earth is a religion, right?
No.
Well, again, he's been kind of uncharitable there. I mean, clearly the guy is a believer in God, but it's some kind of maybe deism or something like that. You know, that's what he means when he's saying like the earth is a religion. It's kind of God's in everything kind of thing. So maybe a pantheist or a deist or something like that. That's obviously what he means, and yet he's going to nitpick.
Secondly,
Nature
hold
is the
on.
religion.
Look.
No,
I
just
listen
one-
to
no,
you.
no, no, no.
I listen to you,
Did you barely? I mean, it was what, 30 seconds before you interrupted him?
and you were respectful.
It's an example.
Be respectful.
Okay, sure.
When I listen to you, you listen to me, and I'm not going to jump off topic. You're talking about killing.
Again, this is ironic, jumping off topic. All he does later in this video is jump from topic to topic and be disrespectful.
Who killed the most people? If you name one person responsible for the most killing in the history of mankind, the
Muslim.
person himself.
Muslim. Look at
Listen.
Shia.
Right, see how this is completely irrelevant, okay? What does it matter if you can find some individual who happened to kill more people than, say, certain Muslims in history? That's not the guy's point. All he was pointing out was there's a lot of violence, there's a lot of intersect conflict within Islam, and that's not a good thing. Uthman, rather than sort of challenging that, he doesn't even do like typical dawah apologetic, like, oh well, some Muslims are bad, but um, Islam is religion peace. He doesn't even try and do that nonsense. He simply thinks, right, the way to justify all that violence is to point to someone else who, at least in his mind, he thinks has done more violence, and that somehow justifies the violence done in Islam. So complete whataboutery. But he also gets all his facts wrong.
Big fight.
Listen, one person who individually killed the most people was Stalin.
Right. You've got to be careful with your terminology here, because you could say he's responsible for the deaths. He didn't directly kill them. He directly killed very few people. And it does make a difference. Again, I'm not nitpicking here, because it does make a difference, as we'll see in a minute in the video. But you've got a figure like, say, Ivan the Terrible, who was supposedly, like, at his own hands executed 3,000 to 4,000 people. So there's far more brutal, bloodthirsty in terms of direct killings. But yeah, if you want to talk about responsibility laid at their feet, then yes, Stalin's obviously up there.
What religion did Stalin follow?
What fucking difference does that make? Seriously. I mean, again, he's just going to go on this sad little diatribe that because Stalin wasn't a God believer, because he was an atheist, that means that you can attribute his deaths to him not believing in God, which is a complete fallacy that's been done 1,000 times. Stalin didn't kill anybody because of atheism. Okay, he killed it because he was a sociopath. He killed it because he was trying to cement his power, and he would attack every institution that threatened that. There's nothing to do with whether he believed in a God or not.
What religion?
What religion?
Atheist.
Go ahead.
He was atheist.
So the person who killed the most people in history was atheist.
This is not true.
It is okay. Hold on.
Well, again, he didn't directly, and if you want to talk about who inspired the most or who made it possible for the most, I would question whether it was actually Stalin, but we'll get to that.
Hold on.
Listen.
Hold on. No. We're not going to let you. No. We're not going to let you just jump around like that.
Brother.
Again, the irony when this guy starts jumping towards the end of the video.
Hold on.
No.
I
am saying that
no. Look, again, you're jumping now because you're caught.
Maybe killed in that era, but
Not in the era. The one person who killed the most people, Stalin. After Stalin, Mao. What religion did Mao follow? No, hold on. Not 20, 30 years.
Okay.
One person, the one person who individually is responsible for the most killing, number one.
See, now that's a better definition, because if you're going to talk about individual responsibility, if you want to have this stupid argument, I mean, personally for me, I think it's stupid, like trying to tot up the number of deaths to individuals or to people based on their religious belief. I think it's important to actually focus on, can you say that their religious belief or their lack of religious belief was at least a contributing, motivating factor in the killing? Obviously, you can say things like suicide bombings and stuff like that directly are, but just being religious or just being non-religious isn't enough to say they were killed because of a belief in God or a lack of belief in God. So this is a completely stupid argument anyway. But if you want to play that game of just totting up numbers, well, you can make a credible case for Muhammad, because Muhammad has laid down the principles for which you can kill people, which Muslims have followed for 1,400 years. So if you want to do this totting up thing, you could say that through inspiration, through direct commandments and everything else, which has inspired tens, maybe hundreds of millions of deaths committed by Muslims all over the world in the past 1,400 years, comes directly from Muhammad. So I think you can make a credible argument to rank him higher than Stalin, if you want to make these stupid arguments. So, Uthman, you're onto a loser. And the larger point is, you're supposed to be doing dawah. You're supposed to be convincing that, like, Islam is the way to go, is the truth. And your idea of doing that is saying, well, Stalin killed a bunch of people and he's an atheist. Mao killed a bunch of people and he's an atheist. So therefore, that makes Islam true somehow? I mean, no wonder this guy fails at dawah if this is his approach.
Number two are all atheists. Okay? Hitler didn't kill as much as Mao did.
Okay,
Nor did, you don't know history. Listen.
Yeah, neither do you, but we'll carry on.
No, hold on. You don't know. You don't know because you said Hitler. I don't know. I'm not quoting from my book. Did I quote from my book?
Yeah.
Did I quote from my book?
I don't want to take video.
No. Yeah.
I don't know what book he's talking about. Has Uthman written a book? God, I bet be shockingly bad.
Now you don't want video, right? Yeah. It's okay. We're gonna video. You don't like it? It's up to you.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. Now
But you know
listen.
what, tell you
Listen.
what,
Listen. No. You lied. You lied. Hitler even is.
He hasn't lied about anything. So again, he's making accusations. He brought up Hitler. He didn't lie about anything.
Lord, but if you mention Hitler, what religion was Hitler?
Brother.
What religion was Hitler?
Atheist.
Hitler was not atheist. You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, neither do you, and we'll see this in a second.
You're talking about Islam killing the most people. You don't even.
Right, he never actually said that. Remember what I said at the start, that he misrepresents what he says? He never said that Islam killed the most people. He simply said right at the start that Islam has got all this violence associated, which it has done. It's got all this intersectional conflict and violence and fights between different Islamic groups, which is also true. That's all he said. At no point did this guy say Islam has caused the most violence. If you want to make an argument that that's the case, then fine, go ahead. But this guy never said that. So Uthman's just directly lying here.
You know who was responsible for the most murders? You mentioned Hitler. Hitler was a Christian. He had an iron.
See, again, this is not really true. I mean, he wasn't really an atheist and he wasn't really a Christian. He started off as a Christian. He was raised Catholic and probably had Christian sentiments up until early adulthood. But I mean, it's a confusing mess what Hitler believed. But I don't think you can't really describe him as an atheist or a Christian. I think he had certain supernatural beliefs. He had certain quasi-God beliefs. He did believe in providence, and he did mention a kind of creator God that he did believe in. But it certainly wasn't anything that was typically Christian, certainly by the time he was in power. So I don't think it's accurate to describe him as an atheist or a Christian. But obviously Uthman's playing this stupid numbers game, so he wants to attribute this to Christianity. Again, this is the only way he can think of to try and make Islam look good. Say, look at all these monsters that aren't Muslim, so the Muslim monsters, they must be the right ones.
Cross. He quoted the Bible, and you didn't know that. So you're just an Islamophobe.
So him potentially not knowing that makes him an Islamophobe. What a stupid thing to say.
Who's trying to hate on Islam without knowing your facts.
No, he's not hating on Islam. What he said about Islam is true. There is an awful lot of violence associated with it. And whether you want to play this game of ranking it on a table is irrelevant. You haven't actually addressed that point.
You don't know your facts. You are. When you said Islam is responsible for the most killing, no.
He never said that.
I'm not done talking. I'm not done talking. I'm not done talking. Listen. When you were speaking, I respectfully listened. Now I'm not done.
No, you didn't respectfully listen. As I say, you were just waiting for a point where you could interrupt and go on your ramble.
Speaking. I did. I asked you, are you done? Can I address your point? You said yes. Now I'm addressing. You don't want to listen. First thing, let me finish. Let me finish, and then you can speak. Let me finish. Okay. Now, okay. Did more Christians have more crusades amongst themselves, the fights amongst Christians, than Muslims? Yes. Go.
Well, I'm not sure that is actually true. I mean, I'd be bothered to go back and count. Yes, I mean, both Christianity and Islam have had a lot of interreligious conflict. Again, pointing to the Christians again is just whataboutery.
Look up your history. If you look at World War I, World War II, who started them? Both sides were Christian.
Both sides were Christian. Does he forget about the Ottoman Empire in World War I? You know, the leaders of the Islamic world until they fell. I mean, he talks about not knowing his facts and his history. Jesus Christ.
Right or wrong?
I understand that.
Right or wrong?
Wrong. Blatantly wrong. And there was also plenty of Muslims involved in World War II as well, including many that fought for Hitler. But you wouldn't want to touch on that, would you?
This era, they came to a civilization.
We're not talking. Okay, today. You.
Right, now that's the guy. That's the point he's making there as well. He's saying, okay, yes, there's bloody history everywhere, but you've got parts of the world, parts of the non-Muslim worlds that are generally moving towards a more kind of human rights-based domestic society, where the Islamic world in general is really struggling in all those areas. Still, lots of oppression against women and minority groups and apostates and atheists and minority Muslim sects even. So that's kind of his point.
Ukraine and Russia. Are they both Christian countries? Ukraine and Russia, are they Christian countries?
What an irrelevant point. Does anyone on this planet think that Russia invading Ukraine has got anything to do with Christianity? Do we really think that? Was that Putin's war aim? He wants to establish the Russian version of Christianity over the Ukrainian one. I mean, again, what a fucking stupid thing to say.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
And are they fighting?
They're fighting, yeah.
Thank you.
But-
So that means it's not
What do you mean, thank you? That doesn't prove shit.
about. No. Hold on.
Look at the money.
No. There are a bunch of countries. Look, in Pakistan fighting who?
The Pakistan fighting Muslim Americans.
Who are they fighting? There's no war in Pakistan. There's no.
There's no war, but there's plenty of oppressive practices. And if you want to look at other places, obviously, Yemen, civil war, you've got which the Saudis are partly involved in. You've got Islamic groups all over, various insurgencies throughout Africa and Asia. So yeah, there's plenty of wars where Muslims are involved.
From Pakistan, bro. Don't tell me there's no war in Pakistan. Look, we have shootings in America every day. Right now in Texas, we just had a shooting.
Again, what's this got to do with what he's saying?
Right?
Kuwait, 150 people died. Police.
Yeah, of course. We just had a shooting today.
150 people,
Today in Texas.
day.
Yeah, we had thousands of people get killed in mass shootings in America.
Right, but that's not actually true as well. If you want to be accurate about it, there's mass shootings are supposed to be 3 or more people, I think the definition is. And the figure's actually run into hundreds, not thousands. I mean, there are thousands of gun homicides in America, and it's certainly true that it's an issue. But again, what has this got to do with his point that there's violence in Islam? You can't win the argument by saying, oh, well, I can point to violence elsewhere in the world. Of course there's violence elsewhere in the world.
Every year, you know that, right? You know that? That's not a problem with the gun, because people in Switzerland have guns in every household. They don't have it. So then you're going to say in Kuwait, the bombing is the problem with the bomb, not the people.
Dude, this is not the problem.
It's not the gun, it's the people shooting the guns, right?
Bearing in mind, just to remind you, like this random, like insane rant about like gun violence, stuff like that. This guy's supposed to be giving dawah. He's supposed to be trying to convince this guy to come back to Islam. And yet all he can do is fight about levels of violence. This is how bad he is at his job.
Is an issue. It is. Of course there is. Of course there is. No. In Pakistan, that's all politics. In Kuwait.
Ah, right. So whenever Muslims are fighting, it's about politics. But if any non-Muslim does it, it's about their Christianity, or it's about their Hinduism, or it's about them not having a God belief if you're an atheist. That's a convenient way of looking at the world, isn't it?
That's all politics. Understand? It's politics. You don't want to admit when they're.
Yeah, it's politics when mobs kill atheists and people accused of blasphemy against Muhammad in Pakistan, or blasphemy against the Quran, Islam in general. That's politics when those people are killed. Right, Uthman?
Christians fighting Christians over Christian issues. When you had
again, what Christian issues were being fought in the one example that he gave? What Christian issues are being fought over between Ukraine and Russia? It's obviously territory.
They are okay. So what you said more historic 14 centuries. Take the 14 centuries. See, listen.
Well, yeah, take those 14th century from where the Muslims started in Saudi Arabia, all the way across North Africa, into southeastern Europe, into southwestern Europe, into the Indian subcontinent, conquering huge chunks of India. You don't think all those millions of, how many tens upon tens, maybe hundreds of millions of people killed? That's not even including the millions and millions and millions of slaves that were taken from conquered parts of East Africa. So, I mean, what the, you're going to deny all that?
Listen, take the 14. No, hold on. I'm not done.
Are actually in prison 14 in countries. In Islamic countries,
they're not women being raped and killed in America. But when Afghanistan, there are women in prison for what?
They are in prison.
You're a liar. Show me.
They don't have the right.
They don't have the right to what?
Whatsoever. Just one second.
What right? What right?
The right whatsoever.
What right? Have you been to Afghanistan?
Dude,
have you been to Afghanistan?
There's no right.
Have you been to Afghanistan? Have you been to Afghanistan?
No, I haven't been there, but I'm telling you.
We have brothers here that just came back from Afghanistan. Let's ask them. Dude. Let's ask them.
Dude.
No.
Oh, yeah, that's a great source of information, isn't it? Let's ask a bunch of Salafis who have been there for their anecdotal experience of whether they think that women's rights are being oppressed. That's going to be an unbiased source, isn't it?
The person who's been there, let's ask them.
Look,
Who's been to Afghanistan? You've been to Afghanistan?
Are women working?
You've been to Afghanistan?
Women,
You tell me.
are women working?
Are women
Dude,
there?
You're telling the
Do women have rights?
Are
They
women
have schools?
working in Afghanistan? No,
Hold on, listen.
I mean, schools in particular. I mean, I'm pretty sure that women have been banned from university education now, and there's been, I think, restrictions on anything about primary education also. So, I mean, that's a really bad example to use.
Let him speak. Let him speak. Women can't go out in Afghanistan.
There's no education. Where's the education level? Where's the education? No.
Well, I don't think he's saying they can't go out, but there have been restrictions on movements. I think they've been introducing the Guardian system, and they do stop checks on them by Taliban fanatics. And there was an article about how women were being restricted in terms of using like the park areas because apparently they weren't segregating in the way that the Taliban wanted them to. So yeah, there's a lot of restrictions.
Can women go outside in Afghanistan? You're a liar. Caught right now. Right now. Have you been to?
He never said they couldn't go outside. Jesus, this guy's such a straw man little bastard.
Indonesia?
Tell the truth.
What's the biggest Muslim country?
Dude,
what's the biggest Muslim country?
Now, see again, this guy accuses him of jumping all over the place. Now he's asking randomly about the biggest, which is the biggest country in terms of Muslim majority, which yes is Indonesia. And yet he accuses the other guy of, jumping around and stuff. What the hell has this got to do with anything?
Tell the truth. What's the biggest Muslim country?
If the woman doesn't have a right,
what's the biggest Muslim country in the world?
Dude,
what's the biggest? Huh? You don't have an answer?
The answer doesn't fucking matter, Uthman. This is completely irrelevant. It's another irrelevancy already on top of this whole thing, which is kind of irrelevant in terms of you trying to do dawah. What a shit show.
Listen,
you don't have an answer? You're just an Islamophobe that doesn't know what you're talking about.
So he's an Islamophobe now if he doesn't know that Indonesia is the biggest Muslim majority country. I mean, seriously, at this point, anything can be Islamophobia to Uthman.
You don't know what you're talking about. Okay, you're spitting on me. You'll back up off me. All right.
Sorry, I know it's a bit childish, but that was actually one of my favorite bits of the video. Spat on.
Listen, what's the biggest Muslim country in the world?
It doesn't matter what.
You don't.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter. So you just harping on pointless shit.
No.
You're saying
Indonesia.
Right? So what?
Can women go to school? Can women go to university?
What's that got to do anything? He didn't say anything about Indonesia.
Do they have PhDs? Saudi Arabia, women can't go to school in Saudi Arabia? Women can't go to school in Saudi Arabia? You are so ignorant.
Well, again, I mean, it's hard to even hear what the guy's saying because you keep screaming over it. I'm not even sure he actually said they can't go to school. I mean, there were obviously severe restrictions in Saudi Arabia, but things have liberalized over the years.
There are women universities that have PhDs. They get Nobel Prizes. No.
Right, that's just a direct lie, right? There's not a single Saudi Arabian Nobel Prize winner in any discipline, in any field. So that's just a straight up lie.
No, they didn't just start. They've had women universities in Qura. Yes, they have a burqa because they have haya, unlike your women that are walking around naked.
Now he's jumping onto this issue. I mean, first of all, yeah, that's great. Yeah, if you're not wearing a burqa, according to him, you're walking around naked, apparently. So I mean, again, what ridiculousness.
Because they have no shame doesn't mean they're liberated. Just because of
no shame, yeah, maybe they don't want to bury themselves in 10 meters of cloth. Yeah, maybe they want to actually feel the sun.
Muslim woman is covered doesn't mean she's not educated. No.
Yeah, well, no one's saying that she isn't educated if she's covered, but there's so many issues getting conflated here. It's just a mess.
Hold on. Saudi Arabia has had Islamic universities, secular universities.
Secular universities? I don't know about that. That sounds like another made-up claim, but anyway, it's irrelevant.
You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know stats. You don't know the facts, and that's why you're running.
Yeah, I mean, that really all applies to you. You've made so many mistakes in this video. But yet again, just to say, he's put out this dawah video. If you haven't seen the first part, which I did on this video, check the link at the end. But he put out this video as an example of, like, he wants to share this to the world, how well he did with his dawah. And the first part of it was basically a non-Muslim who he completely failed with, to the point where the guy's just saying, don't give me a Quran because I'm not going to read it. Then he trying to get into a massive shouting match with the next Muslim. And then right at the end of this video, he basically just grabs a guy off the street and just like saying, no, you're not going anywhere until you until you take the shahada. So I mean, and this is a video he chose to put out on the internet to show his dawah skills. I mean, what a fucking mess this whole thing is. So yeah, well done, Uthman, embarrassing yourself, and yeah, I mean, you make the other dawah clowns look good with this kind of incompetence. So I suppose that's the only thing that the dawah community can take from this. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed watching him embarrass himself. I certainly did. And yeah, everyone have a good weekend. See you in the next one.